Sentimental Hero takes out the 2025 Boulder Cup, the listed race, $125,000 feature. What a fantastic result, Michael, for the locals in ownership, and also Pete Fernie and Lucy Fury.
Yeah, leading trainer Peter Fernie lands the Boulder Cup victory in a wonderful ride by Lucy Fury. One out, one back. The favourite, Starry Heights, unfortunately looked like he was about to find trouble, and at that moment Lucy just really got on her bike and put Sentimental Hero into the race, and the rest was history. But I'm not sure if it would have mattered because he won by about 2 3/4 lengths in the end, so a pretty dominant performance.
Very impressive indeed, and looks to be a favourite, you'd think, going into the Kalgoorlie Cup in about a fortnight's time. So very exciting times ahead there, and I'm no doubt a pretty happy manager as well for Lucy Fury. But our attention now shifts to the last here at Kalgoorlie, the high-grade personnel handicap over the 1600 metres. Runners are in the yard, jockeys getting legged aboard now, so we'll kick things off with the one in Gibraltar Gold for Peter Fernie and William Pike.
This is our favourite. Very unlucky last start. This mare went around the $2.90 favourite and was blocked for pretty much the entirety of the straight. You can rule a line through the effort. It was just circumstance where she unfortunately never got a crack at them. Prior to that, she bolted in by 2 lengths, and it was one of the more aesthetically impressive performances that we've seen for a little while here at the Goldfields. She does step to a mile for the first time now, and she does draw low, which are potential queries, but William Pike jumps aboard and she does look a talented type.
Pete does saddle up 5 of the 10 runners here in the last, and another one of those is the 2 in Date with the Devil, and Jay McNaught aboard.
Last win was actually this day last year when breaking maiden status in a 1400 metre maiden here at Kalgoorlie. That was this horse's only victory to date. Geez, a tricky horse, Date with the Devil. He races fiercely. He changes his racing pattern. He looks a really tricky horse to ride, but I thought he was given every chance last start and he just wasn't able to break through. He now steps to a mile for only the second time in his career. Personally, I thought he was a risk. I just think he's too hard to catch.
The 3, another one of the stable mates going around in the last here, is American Thighs and Holly Nottle, the claiming apprentice, aboard.
This is an open race, and the American Thighs unfortunately didn't make my top 4, but I still think she's a winning chance. She's the one that's unlucky to miss my 4 because last start was a really good run. She was 3 wide, no cover the trip, and she ran second, beating a pretty similar field, and she actually drops weight now after the claim, and she meets the riders that the horses that she beat that day better at the weights, but she's drawn sticky again. She also steps to a mile here when she's more proven over the 1400 metres from a tough gate. She might need an ounce of luck.
The 4 is I Never Dreamed, Gary Bowen and Troy Turner.
Okay, I'm like this horse today. She is my each way play of the day. She's third up from a freshen. First up, she was probably only fair, but last start I thought she was unlucky. She was held up and she really flashed late. It was a great run. She now steps to 1600 metres. Last preparation, she won at this exact track, grade and distance with 59 kilos from the exact same barrier. She now carries 58.5, so I thought she ticked a lot of boxes here and she should be ready.
We will grab a quick word with trainer Gary Bowen. Gary, how has she come on since that last run?
Yeah, she's very good, Tess. She hasn't gone backwards, as last start was terribly unlucky. I don't know if she would have won, but she definitely would have run a clear second, and she's trained on really good since, and I think she's a great each-way hope, and a bit of luck she can win.
Must make you a little bit confident there too, and Michael says everything aligns from this time last year, even the same barrier.
I hope Michael's a good judge.
What were the instructions to Jagsy headed out there?
I told him, you've won a double during the week, you're in form, you ride it to win.
Well, fingers crossed, best of luck, and hopefully we're chatting after this one.
Thanks a lot.
There's Gary Bowen with his words on I Never Dreamed. Michael's each way chance here in the last, now out to $11. The next horse to preview is the 5 in Gondrinkin for Ashley Maley and Brad Parnham.
Does his best work at Kalgoorlie, I think, this horse. 2 and 3 starts ago, he was very good, including finishing second to Decoration, well out of his class 3 starts back. Was beaten a furlong at Junction last start, though, so he'd have to improve up of that effort.
The 6 is Absolute Plum for Peter Fernie and Braden Garth.
4th up, been well beaten each run this preparation, has drawn sticky, so will likely go around a big price.
The 7, Molly's My Pal for Brad Graham and Keshaw Duran.
I think this mare can run in the money. 2 starts ago, I thought she did her best work late over 1400 at Northam. There's been 3 winners come out of that Sandfire Rose race subsequently. And then last start, she won with a bit of authority in that Belmont midweek, and the step to a mile looks like it'll suit. Should get a nice enough run from the gate as well.
The 8 is Reliable Image Peter Fernie, Lucy Fury chasing a treble after taking out the feature today as well.
Last start was over 2 starts ago, 1,760 metres. Then last start dropped back to 1,400 metres, which just didn't look all that suitable. Got a long way back and did her best work late, but she likely settles last here, and she often just leaves herself with too much to do, this horse. She's a pretty tricky horse to catch.
The 9, having a third start this preparation, is Royale Muck-Up for Brian Allen and Chris Nicol.
Couldn't have him as a winning chance. He's third up in the preparation, but he does look the speed influence. I thought he could lead here, but he also hasn't fired a shot in a long time.
Nadell is a scratching, so we move on to the 11 and Mistress of Excess for Brett Drury and Alex Hearn.
A mad chance for mine. Has been very unlucky in a lot of runs this preparation, but she also cops that because of her negative racing pattern. She has no early speed. She missed the start by a couple of lengths again last start, but she's certainly an exotic inclusion for mine because I think that there's something there and she is more than capable. I like the fact she's up to a mile for the first time as well because she usually finishes off her races as well as anything. It's just the start's all important.
And the 12 Serviceman, another scratching here. Deductions have been applied. Very quick look at the market. Gibraltar Gold is our favourite at $1.80. Did get as low as $1.70 after opening at $2.20. Gondrinkin on the second line of betting, as mentioned, finished a fair way off them at Junction last start, but back on the grass here today. $11 into $4.60. Now at $7. I Never Dreamed. Your value bet here for the day, Michael, is at $10 and $2.40 the place there, and double figures the rest. How do we order the 4 in the last?
I Never Dreamed my each way of the day, Tessa, and I'm sticking with that. 4, 1, 7 and 5. This mare's finished in the money at 5 of her 8 starts at Kalgoorlie, and she's 1 from 1 this track distance. That was earlier this year at her last preparation. She won this track, grade and distance with half a kilo more than what she carries today, and she jumps from the exact same barrier in barrier 5 as well, with the exact same jockey, Troy Turner, aboard. I loved her last start. She was held up on straightening. She should have gone close to winning, but she flashed late to run a third, beaten less than a length. It was a terrific run. I think that at $10, she's certainly worth an each-way ticket. From 1, the favourite Gibraltar Gold, unfortunately, was blocked the entirety of the straight last start. Gets William Pike today, and her win 2 starts ago was simply dominant. 7, Molly's My Pal. I think the step to a mile looks suitable. I loved the midweek win at Belmont last week. And 5, Gondrinkin. He does his best work here at Kalgoorlie. If he was able to reproduce his run from 3 starts back here, he'd win this race, but he also needs a touch of luck from the gate, and he was beaten a long, long way on the dirt at Junction last start. 4, 1, 7 and 5. Over the odds for mine at $10, I Never Dreamed.
4, 1, 7 and 5 here for Michael Heaton. He's been tipping up a storm today, and hopefully he can get us home at some value in the last here as well with I Never Dreamed on top. We just spoke to Gary Bowen as well. He is very happy with how she has been progressing into today. $10 and $2.40 the place. Runners making their way in very well here. See, Mistress of Excess has just made way into the barrier. So we'll hand you upstairs for the very last time today to Royce Newton, who's done a fantastic job calling, for him to call us home now.
Thank you. All right. Okay, runners coming along well here for the lucky last, the high grade personnel handicap over the 1,600 metres. So Gondrinkin locked away, Absolute Plum, now joined by the stablemate Reliable Image. Locked away Gibraltar Gold, drawn down in gate 2 alongside Royale Muck-Up. So we just await Molly's Mapel, Date with the Devil, also American Thighs, and I Never Dreamed. Gibraltar Gold, $1.90. Fixed with Tab Touch, a similar price there on Tote. And then next best, $9, Molly's Mapel at $9.50. I Never Dreamed, $10. $11 Reliable Image, $12 American Thighs. A host of chances around the $10, $11 mark, but it's one-way traffic for Gibraltar Gold. Was $2.20 in the lead up to the race, now into $1.85. Thanks, Stu, as Tab Radio join the broadcast here for the lucky last. The high-grade personnel handicap, we just await Date with the Devil, and we will be set to fly over the mile in the last on Boulder Cup Day. Big win in the Boulder Cup to sentimental hero Pete Fernie and Lucy Fiore, taking out the listed feature, and no doubt will be hot in the market come the Kalgoorlie Cup. Okay, red lights on, stand by, we're set. 1,600 ahead of them in the high grade personnel. And the gates fly back, they're off, racing, Date with the Devil astride, slow, going back, Absolute Plum with early speed, Royale Muck up from the inside. Driving forward, Mistress of Excess from out wide, Gondrinkin is trying to cross together with also American Thighs. They were followed by Gibraltar Gold, who's going to settle down midfield, being passed by Date with the Devil. Then we had Reliable Image, the grey just stranded wide, Molly's Mapel, being followed by I Never Dreamed, and at the tail of the field, it's Absolute Plum. So 1,100 metres to run in the last from Kalgoorlie, and showing the way out in front, it's American Thighs. Leads out by a length, running second, Date with the Devil. Third, Mistress of Excess. 3/4 of a length away to the outside is Gondrinkin. They were followed next of all, Royale Muck up, then Gibraltar Gold, this favourite, spotting the leader, 4.5 lengths. Molly's Mapel down on the inside, Reliable Image, and then we had I Never Dreamed, and Absolute Plum is at the tail. It's American Thighs, who shows the way past the 600 metre mark. Leads out by 3/4 of a length, Date with the Devil on the outside, Gondrinkin put into the race early. Mistress of Excess down on the fence, sweating on a run. There goes Gibraltar Gold, this 180 favourite around the outside. Royale Muck up in that lot as well. Reliable Image down on the inside. Molly's Mapel's going to need some luck from there. And then further back, I Never Dreamed, an Absolute Plum. It's American Thighs, grabbed by Gondrinkin. Here's Gibraltar Gold down the outside, looking for a run. Mistress of Excess. It's Gondrinkin trying to claim down on the inside, American Thighs. Then Gibraltar Gold, but Gondrinkin in front. Gondrinkin lifting in the run to the line. A track specialist, and Gondrinkin goes on and wins. Second across the line, Molly's Mapel, who flew. Then we had Gibraltar Gold, who crossed the line with American Thighs. They were followed in by Absolute Plum, Royale Muck up. Further back then to High Pressure. They were followed next in by Reliable Image, I Never Dreamed, Never Fired. And Date with the Devil was last to greet the judge. Gondrinkin. Number 5, your winner, Brad Parnham for Ash Maley. Runs last at the junction last start on the dirt, comes back on the turf and gets the job done in good style. A clear winner. Number 5, Gondrinkin. Will defeat the 7, Molly's Mapel, which was a massive run, was waiting on a run down on the inside. And picked up the bit late. 1 has finished third, that's Gibraltar Gold. Every possibility. And 6 was 4th, Absolute Plum. 5, 7, 1, 6, a length and a quarter by a short head. The winning gallop 140.12, but it goes to Gondrinkin, who just loves the KBRC. That's 4 goes now for 2 wins and a second. Trained by Ash Maley, ridden by Brad Parnham, by God Has Spoken from Gondrinkin, owned by Ash himself, R Croucher, D Groucher, V Tarzier, and also B Shield. Second in 7, Molly's Mapel for Brad Graham, and Keshaw Duran by Palantino from Molly Blooms, owned by the HPTT Racing Syndicate. Also Miss K Tyrrell, Miss M Duffield, and Brad Graham himself. Third in the 1, Gibraltar Gold, Pete Fernie, William Pike by I'm All the Talk from Makuru, owned by Pete Price, Sue Stewart, also G Greenhill, Lumpy Royal, Karen Fernie and S Barton. And 4th in is the 6, Absolute Plum, Pete Fernie and Braden Garth. So numbers 5, 7, 1, 6. Let's jump down in the yard with Tess to catch up with Ash Maley, hopefully if he's on course.
No, Royce, not on course, but hopefully he's gone drinking now tonight, because it's a fantastic result for him and Connections. Michael, as we've mentioned, did run last at the junction last start, beaten over 14 lengths, but was a winner at the junction the year before, and being able to come back onto the grass proved too good today.
He clearly does his best work here at the Goldfields. 3 starts ago prior to today, he ran second in a 64 plus to Decoration, who then won the Tattersalls Cup, and even 2 starts ago he was pretty solid in this grade as well. But nice ride by Brad Parnham, finished off brilliantly, and he has now won 2 of his 4 starts here at Kalgoorlie, as well as a second placing. So I dare say, if we know one thing about Ash, he will have gone drinking tonight.
Absolutely right, and very versatile horse, and hopefully they'll be back here again with this horse very soon. We'll grab a quick word now with Brad Parnham. We've got the Pierce boys here on duties, actually, who have brought the horse up for Ashley, so that's fantastic to see. But Bradley, he's got a win today.
Yes, and he ran 4th in the Boulder Cup aboard Ginger Baker as well, but not too sure how many horses Brad Parnham would have won on that ran last at the junction at their previous starts. Brad, can you answer that?
Well, probably never really, but I don't know. But this horse has had pretty good form here at this track in the past, so I was willing to look past that last start and, sort of jumped pretty well and put himself on the speed and always travelled, so I just let him do what he wanted to do and he was too good.
Won by a length and a quarter in the end. It was a pretty dominant effort.
It was, he probably strode up to the lead early, but I just felt like I was probably better off doing that rather than holding him back too much. Kalgoorlie can be a tricky track like that. You want to get flowing, and another horse came within striking distance of him, but he really rallied and he finished the race off well.
Ginger Baker was solid again, 61 kilos, fourth in the Boulder Cup. Wasn't a bad effort.
No, it wasn't a bad effort, but he just probably got a little keen on me in the first 800 metres, and with that sort of weight, you probably can't get away with doing that. So he was a good, solid effort, but yeah, if he relaxed, he might have had a little bit more of a kick in him.
Good way to end the day. Rest those ribs. Well done.
Thank you.
There's Brad Parnham combining with Ashley Maley and Gondrinkin taking out the high-grade personnel handicap here. The last numbers 5, 7, 1 and 6. Michael, it's been a great day of racing here on Boulder Cup Day. The crowd has been flowing in. We've seen plenty of the footballers as well from yesterday. I believe the football grand final locally was played here. But highlights from you out of today's program?
I just think Sentimental Hero's win was just really, really impressive. Nearly 3 lengths he won by in the end. Not much luck for the favourite, Starry Heights, who was held up for a crucial stage, but I just think that Peter Fernie's done such a wonderful job for this horse, who had never been really tried over those distances previously, and for a horse that raced in a Hannon's Handicap over 1,400 metres this time last year, he's now winning Boulder Cups over 2,100, and it's going to be a pretty interesting race in the Kalgoorlie Cup, because I don't think Ginger Baker will progress there, so it'll be Sentimental Hero with around 60 kilos. Yep. All of a sudden, Starry Heights going to have probably a 3.5 kilo pull on him from what he had today, so it's going to be a pretty good race for Starry Heights. Hopefully he draws off the fence. If he can do that, I think Starry Heights can turn the tables.
Be a very intriguing race indeed, and no doubt there'll be plenty of horses travelling as well. It's set to be a big, big day, Kalgoorlie Cup Day, with a golden saddle as well, the $1 million slot race, but the Hannons comes up first on the Thursday leading into that, and that's set to be another brilliant day of racing as well. It's all we've got time for tonight, so it's good night from Michael I out of KBRC.